Imagine being erased from the mind of the person you still can't stop thinking about. One day, they were your world, the reason you smiled, the voice that felt like home. And now, you're just another face in their past, a ghost they'll never remember. It's a strange kind of pain, isn't it? Not the kind that screams, but the kind that lingers, quietly, in the spaces where they used to exist. You catch yourself wondering if they ever think about you, if your name ever crosses their mind even for a second. But deep down, you already know the answer. Because while you're still stuck in the memories, they've already moved on. It doesn't happen all at once. There isn't some dramatic moment where you suddenly know they've forgotten you. It's quieter than that, smaller. It's when you open your phone and realize it's been weeks since their name lit up your screen. When you scroll through your old photos and can't remember the last time they even liked one. It's when mutual friends stop mentioning them, as if your connection was a chapter everyone agreed to skip. At first, you tell yourself they're just busy. You make excuses. Maybe they're working. Maybe they need space. But deep down, there's that sinking feeling, that heavy, still silence that tells you they're gone. Not just from your life, but from your mind. From their mind, too. It hits you in the smallest moments. When you pass by a place you both used to go. When you hear a song that once meant something. You stop and wonder if they'd still remember. If that song still makes them think of you. But the truth is, they probably don't even notice it anymore. It's strange how time moves differently for two people who used to share the same heartbeat. For one, it's just another Tuesday. For the other, it's the day everything starts to feel empty. You try to convince yourself that you're fine. You laugh with friends, scroll through your feed, pretend you're okay. But behind every smile, there's that quiet ache. The realization that the person who once knew you best doesn't think about you at all. And that's when it truly sinks in. You're not part of their world anymore. People love to say things like, "You don't need anyone to be happy," or "Love yourself first." It sounds good, strong, independent, empowering. But when you're sitting there at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering how someone can just stop caring, those words feel empty. The truth is, we're not built to be alone. We crave connection, not just physically, but emotionally. We want to be remembered, to be missed, to know that our presence mattered to someone else. That's what makes being forgotten so painful. It doesn't just bruise your heart, it bruises your sense of worth. People act like caring too much is a weakness. But isn't it worse to not care at all? We don't admire the ones who walk away easily. We envy them maybe, but deep down we know that feeling nothing isn't strength, it's emptiness. When someone tells you to move on, they're not wrong, but they're not right either. Because moving on isn't as simple as flipping a switch. It's like trying to erase ink with your hands. No matter how much you scrub, traces of it always remain. You start to realize that love isn't just an emotion, it's a bond. Something your brain builds connection by connection, tiny invisible threads that don't disappear overnight. And when that bond breaks, your mind doesn't just let go. It mourns. It fights. It remembers. So when people tell you to stop caring, they're asking you to go against your nature, to silence the part of you that makes you human. Because the truth is, we're all just want to be someone's favorite thought. Memories have a way of sneaking up on you. They don't announce themselves. They just arrive in quiet, unexpected moments.
A laugh you once shared pops into your head while you're alone in the kitchen. The smell of coffee reminds you of a morning you spent together. Even a simple song on the radio can transport you back to a time when everything felt effortless, when your world revolved around them. You tell yourself to let go, to stop thinking about them, but it's impossible. The mind refuses to erase someone who once mattered so deeply. It holds on to the smallest fragments, a glance, a touch, a whispered word, as if by remembering you keep a piece of them alive. And the strangest part, you don't just remember the good. You replay the arguments, the misunderstandings, the moments that hurt, because they're part of the story too. Every memory, every flashback pulls you back into the gravity of what you had. You realize that loving someone doesn't end just because they're gone. Love lingers in your brain, clinging to the edges of your thoughts. Even when you try to move on, even when you meet new people, the past waits quietly, refusing to be ignored. And while they're building a new life, unaware of the echoes left behind, you're still living inside those old moments, carrying memories that won't fade and feelings that refuse to die.
It's strange how the world treats heartbreak. When a parent doesn't care or a friend drifts away, people understand. They say, it's okay to be hurt. Surround yourself with those who care. But when it comes to someone you loved deeply, someone who shared half a year of your life, someone you're intertwined with in ways you've never been with anyone else, suddenly it's different. People call it obsession. They say you're weak or clingy or too emotional. They act like caring about someone who no longer thinks about you is a flaw, a mistake to be corrected. But why? Why does society expect you to erase a bond that meant something just because the other person moved on? We're celebrated for cherishing friendships, for mourning the loss of family, for holding on to connections that shaped us. And yet, a romantic loss, especially one that ends abruptly or without closure, is treated like disposable emotion, as if the feelings you had, the love you gave, the effort you invested can simply be replaced. It doesn't make sense. Love isn't a commodity you spend and discard. It's real, messy, and lasting. And the heartbreak that comes from losing it isn't weakness. It's proof that you were fully human, fully alive, and fully capable of caring. The world may tell you to move on quickly, but your heart knows the truth. Some people leave a mark that never fades. There's a strange war that starts inside you after someone leaves. Logic against emotion. Your mind whispers, they're gone. Let them go. Move on. It makes sense. It's rational. It's the advice everyone gives. But your heart refuses to listen. It keeps repeating their name, replaying every laugh, every touch, every word. You tell yourself you should feel relief, freedom even, but instead there's emptiness. Every memory becomes a double-edged sword, sweet yet piercing. You know they've moved on, probably don't think of you anymore, yet a part of you clings desperately to the past. It's exhausting, this invisible tug of war. You want to be okay. You want to convince yourself it's over. But understanding doesn't equal healing. Knowing someone has forgotten you doesn't erase the moments when they meant everything. And the hardest part? Watching the world treat it as though it's simple. They don't see the sleepless nights, the quiet longing, the silent tears. They don't understand that being human means feeling, even when it hurts, even when the other person has moved on. This is the space where most people get stuck, caught between knowing what's true and feeling what's real, where logic says forget, but your heart refuses to comply. Acceptance doesn't mean erasing them from your mind. It doesn't mean pretending they never mattered or that the love you shared was meaningless. It means acknowledging the truth that they've moved on, that they're building a life without you, while still holding on to the part of yourself that remembers. You start to see that love doesn't disappear just because someone leaves. It transforms. It becomes a quiet strength, a reminder of what you are capable of feeling, of giving, of being. Even when your heart aches, you learn to carry it differently. Not as a wound, but as a memory that shaped who you are. You realize that some people aren't meant to stay forever. They pass through, leaving traces that linger, shaping the way you love, the way you see the world, the way you understand yourself. And while they may not think about you anymore, the love you had doesn't vanish. It becomes part of your story, part of your growth, part of your humanity. This is where peace begins. Not in forgetting, but in remembering without breaking. Not in erasing someone from your heart, but in learning to live fully even with the echoes they left behind. If she ever stumbled across this, I hope she would know one thing. I never hated her for leaving. I never wished her harm or regretted the moments we shared. All I felt, all I still feel, is the quiet ache of missing someone who once meant everything. There's a strange kind of beauty in it, too. To care so deeply, to love so fully, even when it's no longer returned. To carry someone in your mind and heart, not as a burden, but as a testament to how alive you were in that connection. Life moves on as it always does. People forget, or at least try to, but the ones who touched us stay. In fragments, in memories, in echoes that ripple through everything we do. And maybe that's the lesson. It's okay to still care. It's okay to grieve someone who doesn't think of you anymore. Because love isn't measured by reciprocity. It's measured by how fully you allowed yourself to feel.
Even if she's no longer a part of my life, she shaped it in ways I'll carry forever. And that's enough.